Yonkers. Yonkers is an interesting place.
The city is such a cool place because it's old. These neighborhoods go back hundreds of years.
The art scene in Yonkers, it's a little hidden at the moment.
It's got a lot of potential.
I believe it is just the beginning.
This stuff is slow. It doesn't happen fast.
I don't think that the world is much interested, including Yonkers, in what artists are doing.
I think that's what it is. People aren't interested. People aren't interested. My art is very personal, it's very intimate to me. It's a true sense of my emotions.
I've always been in love with the organic materials. Something about the palette, the textures, the availability. But I want to turn that on its head.
What I'm doing now is not much different from what I was doing then. It's an outgrowth of what I did then.
I make about 12 pieces a year, maybe 15, and I sell about 5. My goal is to pay the rent. And of course, become world famous. That's what I do. I make sculpture.
I see myself as a reluctant leader, and I always say, I don't like to call myself an organizer. I always say co-organizer, because there are a lot of other people that do share an awful lot of heavy lifting. My name's Adam Schultz. I grew up in the Midwest in Indiana, moved to New York City in the mid-90s, and have progressively moved further north, and I found YOHO.
Okay, start now. I'm David Fishwiker. I'm a sculptor. That's okay? Why are you laughing? Because of the noise. I've been doing this kind of work for 30 years, something like that. Before that, I was a teacher and I took a sculpture course, and about 10 years into it, I met a contractor who was working on steel, and I said, teach me how to weld, and that's it. I've been lost in metal ever since.
I make garments. I make clothing out of the materials, but they're all twisted. They're all a little Dr. Seuss, all a little Tim Burton. They look partially eaten, they look partially decomposed. I want to look like something happened with these things so that I may have my own story, but when you look at them, you may have your own story too.
For me, this is the one that started it all. This is the drawing that I made that, after making it, I knew I had something that I wanted to follow the rest of my life with.
I am Alexi Berkner. I'm an abstract painter. I'm new at YOHO, and it's interesting that there are different types of artists here doing different projects and different mediums. So there are people who are more established artists, and then there are people who are just starting out.
From what I understand, and I met one of the original developers of the studios where I am, 2 artists rented a massive amount of space from the owner of the building, and they were the primary tenant for that space, and they subdivided into small, affordable cubicles. And then being artists, they focused on renting to artists and creating a community. And the person named it YOHO as a catchy term, play on the word Soho that we're all familiar with, and the name stuck.
1989, I think I took the studio here and decided that I wanted these nice big walls to fill with my own work. This studio has been just a great place for me. I think there's a few really major artists here. Most terribly not well known yet, but I think there are a few major artists here, including Michael.
I always say what brought me here was the divine. You know, everything happens for a reason. I was drawn here from the spirits to continue on my journey. I always knew about this building. I didn't know it was an artist loft. I used to drive by this building all the time, and it's like it got its presence. It's got like, what the hell is that big building, right? So the place was kind of calling me. I came in here in 2010. I took this spot, which was big enough for me. You know, I loved it, and that's pretty much how I found this place. You know.
So, how long have you been here at
This place, I think we figured out about 15 years. About a year or two before Soho started.
YOHO?
YOHO, right, YOHO. And I told you we were yo-yo. You're on your own instead of YOHO.
I looked for a studio for a long time. It's hard in Westchester. Spots are expensive. I was in a carriage house in Tarrytown that had no electricity, no water, no heat, no nothing. But I dragged extension cords and hoses from the main house, and it worked for a while. It was chilly, but it worked for a while. And then I started looking around because I really wanted a bigger space, and I wanted more of a warmer space. And this kept coming up in the search, and the building itself, the windows, the light.
The building is beautiful. It's got a vibe to it, and it's kind of got an iconic like feeling. It's almost like it's history, man.
If you took a step back and look at how big this industrial area is in this section of Yonkers, and then think for a moment that out of these many dozens of very large old buildings, they were all in service of one purpose, of making carpet. The original owners of the carpet mills relocated the business to Mississippi in the 50s, and when they did, all the buildings that were here in service of the carpet got split up into individual owner interest. And I think as it went into the 80s, the use of the space kept going to smaller and smaller manufacturing. And it's got to the point now where all the owners are looking at us as a prime use for their space, which is great for the arts.
This is an old building with a lot of history. It prepared me to sit here and paint about what I want to talk about in my industrialization and the landscape, and how it's an incredible contrast in industry and natural life. It's not only about how beautiful is your work, it's about where the problem is and what you can do to change it and move in and get better. The feedback that you get from talking to other artists, discussing ideas, and all this kind of interaction that can enrich your experience. More than anything else, a support, a network that help artists, and it's one here.
The open studios was kind of like the bait. When I found this place, I said, oh, that's cool. They're gonna have a show once a year.
It's a two-day event. It's a lot of work, but it is also goalposts for the artists in the sense that they have to get everything ready for show. Because it's an artist-run event, so we do everything.
It's like seeing the art in action people have an opportunity to see so many different things. So I think it's just, you know, I think they should have them all the time.
I think structurally for a visitor who's going to come here, they're going to want to see everybody. There's a continuous flow of studios open throughout the entire 5th floor and part of the 4th floor.
It's been increasing over the years, the number of people coming, which is fun. We've had thousands come through.
It does bring people in. And I do get company, and I get customers, and I get opinions, and I get compliments. So the more visitors, the merrier.
The first open studio I was involved in, this woman comes in and she says, "Oh, you do these masks? You work with these toys?" My daughter, I've been holding on to her stuff for so long, and I just can't find it in myself to throw it out, and I've been holding on, you know. "Would you like to take it?" I go, "Yeah." She gave me about 6 boxes full of toys and all this stuff that really started the whole sculptural thing off, you know, and that's when I really got into it.
For the entire public in Yonkers and for the artist life here is a great event.
I would say right now, maybe less than 1% of the entire available space in the Carpet Mills Arts District is being used by artists. So there's a lot of opportunity for the artists to set up shop here. To me, Yonkers has become the 6th borough of New York City.
It'll be very interesting to see 15, 20 years from now what this place is like, because it could really be full of artist studios, artist studio warehouses, that kind of thing.
It's a great momentum for Yonkers in terms of the art, I will say. There are galleries opening, doing interesting work. It's creating a noise about art here in the city.
It's much busier than it was certainly than 15 years ago, even than 5 years ago. There's more stuff going on.
People have studios, and they're not making a living from these studios. They have other ways of making a living, but they have a need to make art.
Art is, in a way, an expression of whatever time you live in, your humanness.
I need to make art because I feel like it expresses part of who I am and it communicates something.
I don't know where it comes from. It's part of being human, I guess.